back, compadres. Welcome back to another episode of Due Date, the true legend of Dusty Cantina, gunslinger, librarian. We're up to chapter 4 now. Dusty defends documents. Folks say that as Dusty and her sister and kid were a-hugging and a-thumping each other, the reunion was interrupted by a sardonic voice oozing. Well, ain't that a purty picture? It were a pitiless voice from yet another corner, this one deep in the shadows. A match flared, revealing a hard face without any semblance of wit, kindness, or sympathy. It did have a luxuriant handlebar mustache that said more about his self-image than having any realistic appreciation of what it looked like crawling off his lip. Little Debbie Wingate has come home, continued the voice. The match went out. Dusty took a single step, all that was needed to put herself between the cruel face in the shadows and her family. Her hand hovered near her gun belt, but she didn't draw, and there wasn't a speck of fear in her voice. Percy, Dusty said evenly. He goes by Mayor Baker now, interposed Honest Mike hurriedly. Little Debbie, said the mayor, you look like what the cat dragged in. Trash. Nobody wanted in the real world come crawling home. Another flare of another match had framed his face. So, Percy, seems to me I recall you was a feller in a hurry to get out of here, Dusty began. Did you? I don't recall hearing any talk about you anywhere. At least, not nowheres I heard of. She glanced at Honest Mike and put up a hand to stop his next comment. Oh, congratulations on being mayor of Dry Gulch. That's quite an honor, she added flatly. The sound of a match strike was harder, and the match flared brighter than before. Might could have been that Percy had two of them in his hand now and was looking for a more dramatic effect. Or maybe Dusty was getting to him and he was just hitting them harder. One thing's for sure, everyone could see more than his mustache and face now. Not necessarily a good thing, and they could see how on the table in front of him a pamphlet had been left to lie. It was folded, open, and facing down. Dusty saw the pamphlet at a glance, took it in, while Percy took to a jawing. I decided to stay here and make something of myself here, unlike some folk who skedaddled out, said Percy, puffing out his chest like a red-tailed hawk newly fledged and proud of his feathers. That sounds just downright peaceful. A man ought to know where he fits in the world, said Dusty judiciously. Another match gave its life to illuminate the mayor's face. Clearly someone had told him that lighting himself with matches from darkness when he spoke was intimidating, and despite its not working on Dusty, he felt compelled to continue with the affectation. I can't help but to wonder what it is that brings you back to Dry Gulch, Debbie. Go by Dusty now, said Dusty, and I got me some unfinished business to tend to. Looking into unfinished business could get someone into a heap of trouble. Lesson if she were invited, Debbie, the mayor countered. By this time, the smoke of the matches was giving the mayor a faint, albeit undeserved, halo. She goes by Dusty now, interposed Honest Mike in a helpful tone. Say, you want me to get you a lantern or a candle or something so you got a little more light there, Mayor? He was ignored as another match flared and the snide voice wheedled. Nobody likes a stranger poking around their business. Lesson she was invited, the mayor persisted. You got yourself an invitation, Debbie? Maybe something engraved with gold edges? Dusty looked at the pamphlet as the light gutted away as another burnt match joined its brethren on the floor. Go by Dusty now, she repeated. Say, is that there a government document you got there right close to that match of yours? Mayor Percy struck a new match. He seemed pleased that finally someone had commented on the pamphlet. He'd obviously been waiting for this moment. This here document, he said, and moves his match closer, as if to take a better look. Why, I do believe you're correct. The match went out. You know that defacing or destroying a government document is a federal offense, said Dusty evenly. Another match flared. Well, Debbie, I do recall your daddy saying those exact words before his accident, said Percy, as darkness fell about his face as the match went out. "'Tweren't no accident," muttered Medium Mama. "Now hush, Medium Mama," Percy barked from his darkness. There was a short curse at the sound of matches being fumbled about. Damn! Matches flared. There, I done give you a place for you and your boy here. You hush now and get back to your book club and hosting duties like I pays you to. More burnt matches joined their ilk on the littered floor. He lit a new one, still convinced that it gave him the dramatic focus, saying, Debbie, I'll tell you and your sister now the exact thing I told him then, and it won't cost you a thing. What I do with this here pamphlet is no concern of yours. He had to say that last part in a hurry because the match was running out and he wanted to get it all in before it went out. Ephemera, Dusty said. That government document of yours is called ephemera. I beg your pardon, said a genuinely confused mayor as he fumbled for a match in the darkness. Pa ordered them and Ma cataloged them, said Medium Mama stoutly. Pamphlets like them is put in the ephemera collection. Sure you don't want a lamp, Mayor? Offered Honest Mike. I got an extra one I could bring over. No problem. Oh, blessed Pete, Mike. These matches is a dramatic device to add a dimension of mystery and impending doom to the conversation. So, no, I don't need no confounded lamp. You could turn it down real low if you like, persisted Mike. No, I do not need a lantern. One could tell even in the darkness the mayor's jaw was clenched as tight as a red-tailed hawk clutching a fish, bringing it home to her babies. Be that as it may, Debbie, Percy continued with a sneer, doggedly lighting another match. Bad things can happen to those caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Another lit match. Like the place that this here pamphlet might find itself in if this match were to happen to fall on it. Another match flickered over the pamphlet, quick as a red-tailed hawk plucking a squirrel off a branch. Dusty had her gun in hand. "Step away from the ephemera, Percy," said Dusty. "What, this?" said Percy in his smooth but truly evil voice. "What? This old thing of flimsy, flammable paper? Why, it ain't nothing but a water report of stream flow through the county for the past decade or so. It's not important to anyone." He lowered the match closer to the page. "Ain't a soul in this town gonna care if I use this ephemera to light my cigar or wipe my butt." He shifted the match, ready to make a show of setting that ephemera alight. There was a single shot, and the match tip snapped off, leaving the pamphlet without so much as a singe, and Mayor Percy holding nothing more dangerous than a twig. Dusty holstered her pistol and gave the small nod of a workman with a job well done. "You're welcome," she said. "For what?" shrieked Mayor Percy as he realized he'd just used up all his matches showboating and didn't have another. "Well, Mayor, it looks as how I just prevented you from committing a federal crime," Dusty said evenly. "Debbie, if I had some more matches, I'd—" the mayor started. "And the name is Dusty," said Dusty. "Try not to forget it." No, some people say that was the start of the rivalry between Mayor Baker and Dusty Cantina, keeping that pamphlet like that from harm. But others say it went further back than that. They say that the mayor always was a cowardly, sniveling, spineless, boot-licking, putty-footed, blundering, bumbling, bullying pile of steaming cow slop. A scum-sucking, lily-livered, knock-kneed, kidney-contorted, lacerated lung, potato-mashing, cauliflower-brained lump of mud. As welcome as an open sore on the lips of a young lady looking for her first kiss, and as interesting as a boiled egg packed in lint without any salt. A feller whose good idea of a joke is to trip his blind grandma into a mud puddle and then spit in a baby's bottle and then eat all the cookies in the place who had it coming to him. That's what most people think. My opinion, I think bubbling is a mite too much. Could be wrong, though. Thing is, Dusty Cantina was one of a kind. Some would say it was just a government document, just a piece of ephemera. But don't you let Dusty hear that talk. Doesn't matter how many pages or what the cover was like. If it were library material, it had to come back to the library so someone else could have the use of it, and never mind the fines. Leastways, I never heard her say those exact words myself, mind you, but it sure does sound like something she would say. Well, that's it for this episode of Due Date, The True Legend of Dusty Cantina, Gunslinger, Librarian. This episode was written by Dan McLaughlin and Margaret Elin Schmidt. Read by Dan McLaughlin and produced by the fine folk at Totally Honest Productions. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like us where you hear us. And see you next time. Bye-bye.